Brandon, what do Barry Bonds, Roger Clemens, you and me all have in common?
We both. Well, we're definitely not close.
No.
They're definitely not close anymore.
No.
We're all just not close to the Baseball Hall of Fame.
No, none of us.
We are all sitting on the outside looking in.
None of us have been elected to the Baseball Hall of Fame.
Two of us have been nowhere near the Baseball Hall of Fame.
No, we don't need to include that.
Which is great. Which is awesome. And yet all four of us.
There are people on the Baseball Writers Association of America, I think that's what it is, that have voted for Barry Bonds and Roger Clemens as many times as they voted for you and I. I just want that to sink in for a second.
Maybe we'll get more votes after this too. So
maybe next year they'll put us on the ballot. And maybe we'll get more votes than Barry Bonds. I doubt it.
You know what? I'm surprised I haven't seen Michael Jordan come up on this ballot yet. Because I feel like his name should be coming up now. What has it been? 10 years?
Write-in votes? I don't think they do write-in votes, but
no.
I don't know. Welcome back to the BnB podcast. We're on a bit of a schedule. We're here again 1 week after we filmed another. That's the first time we've done two in
consecutive
7-day span in like months. So, hey, we did it. We're here. Obviously, the Hall of Fame votes came out yesterday. And, congrats to David Ortiz. I think his stats aren't all there in terms of Hall of Famers, but I think David Ortiz as a whole encompasses what it means to be in the Hall of Fame. I think he has so many moments in Boston and so many clutch postseason moments.
I think a lot of the paper stats are there. You know what I mean? Like a lot of you look back on it, it's like, oh yeah, how many clutch winning home runs? Okay, great. Yeah. How many, how many pennants did they win? Okay, yeah, for sure. Like it was just and you're part of Boston's illustrious memory now, right? Like it's Big Poppy up there for sure. Yeah, no, I agree.
So I'm not opposed to David Ortiz being in the Hall of Fame. I think that's great. He brought baseball back to Boston. Between him and Manny and Pedro and that whole group, they made baseball fun in Boston again. Cause they went on that stretch. It was almost Cubs level where they just couldn't win a World Series to save their life. And they'd spend money and they had the best team year after year and it just did nothing. And then Ortiz comes around and Manny comes around and that whole group comes around and Kurt Schilling too. But that whole group brought baseball back to Boston. I just don't like. I mean, Kurt Schilling probably deserves to be in the Hall of Fame too. I just don't like him. But
he was kind of the same deal, wasn't he? He came out and was like, "Look, man, I don't give a shit."
He's just a dirtbag is the problem. I don't think he was ever involved in the cheating thing, but he was just a dickhead.
You know, the people who don't give a shit about getting into the Hall of Fame, those who missed out on getting into the Hall of Fame. You know what I mean? You do. I'm sure you do care. I think the fact that it's over 10 years that you get a vote system and you can watch yourself climb up and then just not get over this, apex that you now have and you're just not in there, right? And we watched it.
Yeah,
it was almost like I think at 2 years, 3 years, it was like, wow, really? They didn't get in this far? Okay, whatever. They've got 6 more years to go, 7 more years before anybody hits the panic button. And then this year it was like, no, this has got to be the year. This is serious though. Yeah, why are they waiting till the 10th year? There's nobody else really in front of a lot of these guys to get in this year.
I don't even get I forget who it was, but they commented on one of the tweets I put out and they're like, oh, good to see Scott Rowland getting back up there because he's at 63% now. You need 75 to get in. He's like, maybe you'll have a chance. I'm like, honestly, there's nobody else on the list that deserves it anymore. I'm like, all 4 or 5 guys that deserve to be in the Hall of Fame just got pulled off. 1 got in, 4 of them are they're not getting it. It is what it is. So Scott Rowland's the next guy up. And honestly, he'll probably get in just because there's nobody else on that right now. But
then again, though, are we going to see now? Okay, what if nobody gets in? Then if you're saying that Scott Rowland is up there, if you're just putting Scott Rowland in to put somebody in and not because he's actually deserving of it, is this MLB trying to set this new standard?
I don't know what we're doing.
You know what? This is the Hall of Fame, and we're now not just going to throw anybody in. We're going to set the standard now.
Yeah.
Because, dude, if a lot of these players continue the way that they are. How many people are you going to have in this Hall of Fame, right? There's potential. I think everybody right now could at least put 2 players that they say, you know what, these are Hall of Fame.
There's a lot of guys. Yep.
For sure. So it's almost like is the MLB trying to make a standard here that just it's so early for sure, right? There's no way that Barry Bonds should have been your poster boy for missing it, right?
No. But We're talking about a guy that leads the league all time in MVP awards. He had seven MVP awards for Barry Bonds. And 4 of them came before all this alleged steroid stuff happened. He never tested positive once. Never got suspended, never tested positive. Like, do I believe that he never took steroids? No, God, no. The guy went from me to Arnold Schwarzenegger in like 2 years.
Come on, he looks like Lou Ferrigno, like in his prime, walking around like the Hulk.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen that? That when they used to do the Hulk, they got this really like just Lou Ferrigno is like this juiced up dude back in his like.
There was no CGI. It was the Hulk.
It was this man, and that was it. That's how Barry Bonds looked like.
Yeah. So I'm not going to tell you that Barry Bonds didn't take steroids. No, I'm pretty sure he did, but he never tested positive. The only report he got named on was the same one that David Ortiz got named in. So now we're just jealous of the fact that Barry Bonds hit a lot of home runs and was really good at baseball, but he treated the media like shit. And I think that is 90% of the reason why he's not in the Hall of Fame right now.
That's the thing. Is it what he wasn't likable?
He was not a likable guy. Neither was Roger Clemens. They're both just not likable people. But like
they were likable when they were on your team.
You look at this list. It's embarrassing to see like the fact that you're almost 10% shy of the vote for Barry Bonds. I just
look at Alex Rodriguez too. Hey, in his
first
A-Rod. Like, wow.
So David Ortiz gets in. Okay, that's fine. If you look at David Ortiz's numbers, and I get he never got suspended. He never actually got tested. I think he tested positive once, but he's never been suspended. It is what it is. Then you look at A-Rod, who is what? 45% lower? 43% lower. 43% lower. The guy's night and day better than what David Ortiz is. There he is sitting down there, not even close. Manny Ramirez, if you look up the two and their stats, it's not even close. Manny Ramirez is the better baseball player. And there he is sitting 28%, nearly 50% lower than David Ortiz.
It's a weird system.
What are we doing?
You know what I mean? Like, look at this. Like, nobody else is even close. And David Ortiz is barely, like, he's over for sure. He reached, I guess you could say 78 if you want to round up. But like 78 for
3% higher than what you needed. David Ortiz is a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Right.
And like there are what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Who are these deciding guys?
5 guys minimum on that list that isn't in the Hall of Fame because of quote unquote steroid issues or like what do you call that? The integrity of the game. Like, what are we talking about here, man?
So does that mean no Astros player gets on now? Any of those guys who won? Like, the integrity of the game was lost there. Boston, Boston, all these players now that are like Dustin Pedroia will never see even a Hall of Fame vote because he was on the team.
Deserves it, but
okay, right. But even still, though.
But yeah, no.
Don't even.
David Ortiz is on that group,
right?
So what are we doing here? I think one of my favorite tweets of the whole situation came from Ken Reed, and he goes, "The Hall of Fame voters got it right. Barry Bonds cheated the game. Barry Bonds showed no respect for the game's history or record books. Hank Aaron is the home run king to me, and many others. Barry Bonds is not a Hall of Famer." I'm like, okay, buddy, you just contradicted your own statement. Did the voters get it right? Or are cheaters not supposed to be in the Hall of Fame? Because that's exactly what David Ortiz is. I respect David Ortiz. I think he deserved to be there. But he was also on steroids.
I just think if you're going to use that as your pedestal for why someone didn't get in, then you can't, right? You can't. It's not going to work. Especially when you're letting somebody in. Why? Oh, because they were nice.
Mike Piazza's in the Hall of Fame. What are we doing? Like, don't tell me steroid users don't belong and then vote guys like that in. There's like 3 or 4 notable names that were on the same report as Barry Bonds that are in the Hall of Fame. Just flat out tell me that you don't like Barry Bonds because the way he treated you during his playing career. That's all it is. Because you can see the divide between who's voting him in and who's not. It's the older guys that were around then and were pissed off by what Barry Bonds and Roger Clemens included, what those two did to them and the way they treated them. That is why they're not in the Hall of Fame. because all the newer guys are like, hell yeah, they're the best. Barry Bonds is the best player that's ever played the sport. It's not close. Maybe Mike Trout has a chance, but he's not like he's never had that dominance that Barry Bonds has. The guy got intentionally walked with the bases loaded up too. They intentionally walked him. Like, this is what we're talking
scared
about.
You are. That's how shaking.
This is how intimidating Barry Bonds was. It's a joke. Like, he's the most feared hitter of all time. He leads MLB in home runs. He's up there in RBIs. Like, all the basic stats, he's near the top. The guy had an on-base percentage of like 800. Like, just it's a joke. And he's not there because he angered a bunch of writers in his career, and it made a mockery of this entire voting process. Roger Clemens is a whole nother story. Obviously he deserves it. The guy hasn't he's like 5th in strikeouts. He's got the most strikeouts in AL history. He leads all time in Cy Young awards. Like, he's disgusting. He's one of the, I would say, top 5 to 10 pitchers of all time. Mm-hmm. And he's the only one on that list that isn't in the Hall of Fame. I don't know, man. It just frustrates me. You can literally put a team together of guys that got snubbed that are better than pretty much any team you can put together of the Hall of Famers. Pete Rose is in that list. Pete Rose, I get it. I still think it's stupid. They're going to wait until he dies and then put him in, and I hate it. But Pete Rose is on that list just because they're just butthurt about the past. It bothers the shit out of me, man. I don't like it.
Yeah, it sucks that, motion has to get involved in that stuff, because it's absolutely, when you go back and you can watch some of the highlights, we're lucky enough to still see a lot of those highlights, even though you and I were very young for Barry Bonds, right? So
I remember like the tail end of his career, vividly, but
it's not the same way that it's not the same as we understand it now, right? And highlights can be anything that they want, right? But
it shows the good parts of someone's career.
Absolutely, but it's still cool to see what he did for the game and then look back on the statistics and say, like, yeah, you know what, this guy was impressive. And like, dude, he took some steroids. Your game was okay.
He saved your game. Like, let's not pretend that like Barry Bonds and Mark McGwire, Sammy Sosa, that group of guys didn't save baseball. Like, they were in there, and they're the only reason people started watching baseball again.
Dude, you and I could take steroids, and they would not help us hit a ball.
No,
it still takes
a lot,
some professional skill to hit a ball, and send it to the moon. Steroids or not,
it's just,
and you know what? We've had this conversation in the past. I think that if players want to do it, do it. If that's how you want to go about it, go about it. You're a professional athlete. If you want to live 15 years, 14 years, not even, and that's it. You live to play baseball. You've done so many steroids that then it just takes you out afterwards, and that's okay, that's on you, man. You're an adult.
Sure.
You're a human, by all means. You know it's going to be great when not only in San Francisco is the ball flying into the water, but in so many other parks where water's not even close to ballparks,
you're hitting it going 2 miles into the water. Yeah, no,
that is fun.
Yeah. I get that it creates a bit of a disadvantage, but it's like, hey, that sucks. Whatever. That's life.
If you want to do it,
life's unfair sometimes.
You know what, though? It also creates another sense of competition in the sense where you're going to have the people then that are like, you know what? I'm not taking this
better than you because I don't need it.
And I'm going to beat you. Exactly. I'm going to beat you without it.
Yeah.
Right. It's the same kind of deal, I'm sure, with pitchers when it came to all that sticky shit. There was pitchers who needed it.
You could tell.
Right.
You could tell the guys that had the attitude that weren't using it because they're like,
absolutely, exactly. And that's the thing. It's not like steroids give you absolutely like a performance.
You're stronger. That's for sure. You recover better. I get it.
Yeah, but for baseball, it's a little more interesting, right? It's not like
need to have the
contact. It's not a contact sport. It's not an overly physical sport. So it's a weird one to even really go after, right? Really say that this is why we're not. I mean, and they, to be fair, have they come out and flat out said this is why Barry Bonds not in the Hall of Fame? Because
I don't know. I'm assuming most of them are on the same page of just like it just takes away from the game. I don't know. I don't get it. The thing there too is
this takes away from the game though. How does this add to the game?
Would say, realistically, I would say 80% of the guys that are in that group right now, the only reason they have a job is because of these names. Like guys like Bonds, McGwire, Sosa, like they were the names that kept baseball alive. And
how many more times do you think you're going to say that?
Maybe 4 or 5.
Those three of them.
I mean, I could add in names. I think Roger Clemens maybe, but those 3, like at a time where baseball was slipping,
for sure.
The home run race between McGwire and Sosa saved it. Like it's very well documented that changed the game of baseball, and it's the only reason it stayed alive. Yeah. And if it wasn't for that, a lot of these guys would be out of a job because you don't need it. You've seen it with hockey. So many guys are out of a job because there's just not a market. It is what it is. And now they're going to get pissed off because they did something that at the time wasn't even suspendable. Like it was frowned upon. I hate it. I hate it so much.
Yeah. And it's, you're trying to really compete with these other sports as well. You know, like being like baseball is one that you kind of have to like settle in for the long haul for, because if you're dedicated to it, you're dedicated to it for a long period of time.
Yep.
Right. It is like a forever going thing. There are so many systems to it. Yeah. And all the systems to it, right? You could have 4 different tiers. International players get involved. It's like there are so many different things and so many.
There's a lot of minor league groups too. Like
the structure of it too is so different. You know, like there's no trading draft picks.
No.
Right. There's none of that. There's different drafts within the year. There's different compensations because they know everyone doesn't have the same. And that's the thing. There's no salary cap to it. Like you're trying to compete and you already have like an interesting enough concept to it. You've done enough to become different from the other sports, right? From kind of like how hockey and basketball have like these caps and you know what, everybody has the same chance at this. If you want to structure the Wild West. Right. Exactly. Baseball is like pony up. Baseball is a lot more like soccer, which is amazing to see. If you want to pony up your money, you pony up your money and let's go. Like that's it. You be the big city and you're the hot shit and you go play everybody.
That's always been the one thing with like baseball. It's people are like, oh, well, you want parity, man. Well, if you're a rich billionaire that's a fan of any of these teams, buy it, spend your money. You want them to win a championship so bad? Yeah. Go spend your money on it.
I like competition, man. I've always thought about the idea of switching to like buying and selling players like that, right? Like that there's no more cap anymore. It's just it's investment and it's, you know, you have to get buyers into it. You just play with how much money you actually have and you see what you can build.
Yeah.
And that's it. Like it's and baseball, it's wild, I think, man. Taking away the game, arguably the game's, as you're saying, best player and best players, most influential players, some of the saving graces to the sport, a lot of the people who I'm sure influenced a lot of the game now, right? Like what's the best way to score a run? Not the small ball, just hit it out of the park. Just hit it out of the park. Exactly. And that's what a lot of people are doing now, right?
Barry Bonds today would be a modern day hero.
Dude.
Like it's not hard.
Yes, they are making infields look useless because the ball is going so far out. You need a really good outfield.
You're just a relay guy.
You need a really good outfield that can catch the wall, or maybe an infield who can get out a pretty slow runner.
Yeah, no, it's just
hitting bombs.
Yeah, it's wild. I think Barry Bonds probably gets in on that like veteran vote that they do. Like they do one where it's not voted on by the writers. Yeah. I think he gets in on that. I think
a lot of them get in.
If you look at the players' support, it's unanimously in favor of having both of them.
Right.
Like everybody that was coming out yesterday was saying yes.
Now, since they've seen it too, the what it's done, you can't not, you know. And if you don't, then even more, right?
Yeah.
If that's the way that you're going to draw attention to your sport, I don't think that's positive attention. I don't think that's the kind you want.
That's awful. That's awful. Yeah. But hey, we're in the era of Rob Manfred, so it makes a lot of sense. This is the era where all the bad things come out about baseball. Now, with that vote, I don't think 2 guys can get in on it, which is where you run into a little bit of trouble because Bonds and Clemens will have to enter it at the same time.
It's just one.
I think it's just one. I know the veterans vote. I'm pretty sure the veterans vote is just one name. You only get one guy off of it. And you're only going to get one of the two. And it's got to be Bonds over Clemens. I mean, it is what it is. But yeah, you're looking at a Hall of Fame that currently, as it sits, the 2 best hitters in MLB history aren't in it. And I think that speaks volumes to what a joke this whole system is.
Don't cheat because the MLB.
No. The thing is, you can cheat.
The mud after. Hang on. Afterwards, they'll drag you through the mud.
No. You can cheat all you want. Just be a good guy about it. David Ortiz is a great person. Everyone loves David Ortiz the person. I mean, he cheated, but everyone loves David Ortiz the person. So he is in the Hall of Fame. Pete Rose, dickhead. Barry Bonds, dickhead.
Mark McGwire,
Roger Clemens, Mark McGwire, Sammy Sosa. None of them are good guys. Nobody liked them as people, but they cheated. So it gives them an excuse to be like, we don't want him in there. He cheated. Curt Schilling, same idea. Curt Schilling didn't even cheat. He's just a dick.
It's Jose Canseco.
Jose Canseco. I don't know if he was good enough to be a Hall of Famer, but again, he was a part of that whole big race that helped save baseball. Didn't matter.
He has so many highlights that doesn't matter, and lowlights that are still circulating.
That's like the most iconic lowlight of all time.
Yes.
So, yeah, I don't know.
That is the best. And if you haven't seen it, please go check that out. That will be your top.
Your homework for today.
Yeah,
you'll enjoy it.
It'll be your absolute. Fuck, it's so funny.
We got to move on from the Hall of Fame before I lose my mind.
You think so?
Yeah,
I didn't think you had one to begin with in this conversation. You already lost it.
Well before. I've been going off for 2 days. It's just I don't know.
Yeah. You were yelling at the TV for the football.
Yeah, pretty much. Oh, do you want to move on to football?
Of course. That was the segue.
There's no.
Look, I'm capable of segues too.
Thank you. I appreciate it. You know, I appreciate the transitions.
Yeah.
Where do we start?
Oh God!
What a weekend for starters.
First of all, for people on the Twitter, and
Instagram, and
Instagram, everybody.
I made Brandon look bad. I'm sorry. It was not
as bad as, and Brandon's not as good.
I nailed a lot of predictions.
You got a lot of this.
I had a great weekend outside of that fucking.
I got so Hollywood centric. I wanted a movie. I wanted a feature film afterwards. I wanted everything. Yeah,
you were cheering for the villain. That's your own fault.
I agree. I put a lot of chips in Aaron Rodgers' basket. All of them, which is fine.
I didn't even mean to bash you with that one. No, it was just the only clip where I just straight up said, like, this might not be a win for the Packers.
To be fair, though. That weather was, to be fair. The weather was dumb.
It was dumb. It was snowing.
Dumb. It was snowing for sure. Which, like, you're in
Lambeau. What kind of football game ends 13-10?
Right. And, like, Aaron Rodgers, you were up 10-3 till about 5 minutes left in that damn game. And then something that is out of your control.
Special teams, baby.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, no.
Horrible. Where was the Aaron Rodgers third down arm punt? You know what I mean? Like, that's what I'd rather have, where he just launches it to an interception and they're like, yeah, okay, perfect. That was as far as our kick would go.
It's worse than getting a touchdown on fourth.
Yeah, it was so hard to see. Great defense from San Fran for sure. They're living back to it. This reminds me of the same team that went back to the Super Bowl, which is like, they're good. They clicked again. George Kittle healthy. Always a weapon.
The thing with that, sorry. Up until then, very healthy. The thing that concerns me with them going forward is at the end of that game, Debo was limping off. Kittle was limping off. Bosa's obviously already not healthy. Did Warner play in that game? I didn't notice.
I can't remember, but
Warner's not healthy.
No, for sure.
Jimmy G's still missing his thumb.
Right.
And they're coming in against the Los Angeles Rams.
Oh, no doubt.
It's going to be
They live on their defense for sure. They live on their defense. There's no doubt. You know what I mean? Like they've always
it's the defense and Debo.
Identity.
It's the double D's.
Right.
That's all it is.
So it depends what you're gonna get. Bosa is a key factor. That is your big, that is your key. That is, you need him in there.
I'm less concerned with Bosa because I think he was fine in that game.
I think he plays with whatever. Yeah, he's also gonna play with whatever. George Kittle is a gamer. Even if he's out there to block, he'll be out there to block.
Mm-hmm.
I think you're right, though. The Rams have hit this stride.
Oh, my God. Wow. The Rams are the greatest first half team in the NFL.
This is the thing.
The greatest first half team in the NFL. They will dominate you through the first half. They just
showed exactly, though, the immaturity that this team absolutely should have, because like Odell kind of said it best. I don't know if it was like a little clip, but he just said it feels like an all-star game here. He goes, there's so many all-star faces
people
that you're so relaxed and you're so like happy, you're having a good time. And here's the thing though, is that was not the same on the other side in Tampa, and you could see that. And that's where the game just started to come in, and Tom Brady was just doing Tom Brady things again. He's just like, we're getting back in this. It's fine. You left me enough time. Like, don't relax. You guys took too much of a, it's like tug of war where you kind of like lean back a little bit. You're like, all right, we take a breath for like a little bit. We just stay here. And then the other team just starts pulling you away. And you're like, oh crap. Okay. We need to get back in this. And you just can't. All of a sudden you're slipping up, like in Squid Game. You know what I mean? Where that happened, he was just like, oh shit, we're right at the line.
And down you go.
That's what happened.
I was watching that game, and when they got within 2 touchdowns, I was pissed. And I shouldn't be. There was like a quarter left.
Right.
And I was pissed that they were only up 2 touchdowns. Yeah. Because that's Tom Brady's effect, is he can still do that.
You need to keep scoring actively.
You can't give up when you're in that situation. And it's going to be the same thing if by some means they get through the Niners this week. And if it ends up being Kansas City on the other end, which, I mean, we'll get to that in a second. But if it ends up being Kansas City, it's going to be the same thing. You can't give up when the other offense is that post.
The best thing that Stafford has done, though, is not gone away from Cooper Kupp with OBJ's arrival there. You know what I mean? Like, it is easy to then go look in Odell's like vicinity to always go look at him, but he knows like Cooper Kupp is always fucking open. If you get man
wide
coverage,
open, apparently. Somehow.
Here's the thing: if you recognize one-on-one coverage, that's it. No safety help. He's always at Cooper. That's it. Yeah. He just doesn't carry it. He's like, all right, where is he? He's open. I know it doesn't matter.
Hey, like, shout out to the Bucks for making that a game. And like the way they locked everybody down for a while there.
You got to take risks.
But how in God's name are you leaving Cooper Kupp that wide open at the end of the game?
You can tell there were many points where they just had miscommunications on that defensive side and just left them so open. I know.
Holy.
And especially when they're running hurry up too. Like you have to understand that one of these two guys are on a go route.
It's going to Cooper Kupp. I don't even think you need to cover anyone else. It's going to Cooper Kupp. Because that's his guy, and he needs to get it down the field.
There's so many weapons now, which is great, and great on the LA Rams and recognizing that Matt Stafford was what they needed, a pocket quarterback who is just able to go through reads and go through his receivers and hang in there. Because you know what, man, he's taking the hit.
Mm-hmm.
He's taking the heavy hit. He's going to take anything that they throw at him if it means that he's going to get that ball out of there and down.
Matt Stafford played a perfect game, realistically. Like, the mistakes came off of the hands of Cam Akers and out of the hands of the center when I don't even know what happened with that snap. But like the mistakes didn't come from Matt Stafford. You can't look at Matt Stafford and say he's the reason that they came back in that game. He did everything he could, but Cam Akers tried to throw the game.
It just came from that little bit of inexperience in the offense, you know what I mean, and inexperience in them being like on defense.
They're still very fresh as a unit.
Defense forming a new team, forming like having new players, new faces come in is a little easier because it's
cover your guy,
do your job. And that's it. The athleticism of it and the new attention from it is a lot easier because it takes away from your star players, right? When Von Miller went there, it was like, dude, Aaron Donald's opened up, right? That was no doubt in anybody's mind. Now
you mentioned Von Miller. It's just like you see him come in and thrive in the playoffs because he doesn't have to worry about the guys around him. He just does his job, gets to the quarterback. That's all he has to do.
Right.
There's no connection with the rest of your guys on defense. It's not.
But you go on the offensive side and you've gotten in a new quarterback who is learning. Like, you know, I'm sure he's figured out the system, but he's also him and McVay are learning what do you do in certain situations, right?
Yep.
What do you do when this thing happens or when you're seeing that, like yada figuring out, right? So I think that there are going to have some bumps.
For sure. You've got a new quarterback. Your wide receiver 2 has only played half the year with the team.
For sure.
And your running back in that game is on game 3 of his season. Game 3 of his season.
Yeah.
It's going to be like, there's going to be little bumps here.
Sony Michel has looked great. They've gone away from it at times, which I didn't think were necessary. But at the same time,
Cam Akers should have been there in the last few drives.
No,
he just didn't look like himself. Cam, last game, fantastic. Did a phenomenal job, but you could see his confidence was slipping a bit in that one.
But the team's got heart for each other. They got a really big, team mentality.
They wanted him to work. Yeah.
Which is good, right? Cooper Kupp, I don't think ever gets upset when he's not getting the target, even though he's wide open literally every time. There's not, if you snap the ball, you should just look to Cooper Kupp because it's going his way.
He's open.
And if you ever need a run play, have him block because that dude blocks everybody. If you ever see, he doesn't let anything through.
Yeah. I got a lot of respect for Cooper Kupp. He came out of nowhere, realistically. Like, he was good, but holy shit.
Like that. Yeah. To be this good for you.
Unbelievable. Shout out to Matt Stafford for that last drive, though. Just like, it would have been way more impressive if Mahomes didn't do what he did on the weekend. But the fact that he had like 35 seconds left and just slings 2 passes to Cooper Kupp and gets the ball down.
Way funnier if they didn't clock it because they were running off field or something. Like, it looked like they almost, like, I knew they have time for sure. And
I think Stafford knew what he was doing and he was going, but he looked back and I think there were other people that didn't know what they were doing.
Yeah, I don't think they realized
scary
that
for a minute.
It was going down there like that,
It didn't need to be as pressure packed as it was because they still had 8 seconds once they clocked it. So it wasn't that big a deal. But
and then they almost blocked it. Like it was intense. And it's almost game. Like that was the final, you know, how do I put this? The final blow for Tom Brady, I think.
Yeah.
That right there was like
straw that broke the camel's back.
Absolutely. Like I think that right there was kind of like the magic is gone. Mm-hmm. Like the Tom Brady magic is gone. Next year, if you come back, you're grinding for it. This is not an easy walkthrough anymore. This is not a we got the boys, right? Yeah. You're going to have Godwin coming off of an ACL injury at some point, right? Yeah. And you're going to have to see what you can do in the offseason for sure. You have Gronk another year older. Mike Evans will be Mike Evans, no doubt.
He's always
You're hoping, and they have a good chance of retaining a lot of their players for sure. Mm-hmm. You know, you have a lot of that back, but that's the thing is,
you got to get him someone to throw to. Like, I love Mike Evans. I think he's one of the greatest in the sport right now. And when he's on, he's unbelievable.
Tom Brady needs those 3 options that he had, right? That's what was great about it was Antonio Brown being there. Antonio Brown in the Super Bowl scored a touchdown. Mm-hmm. Antonio Brown just being Antonio Brown takes looks away because he's capable of being Antonio Brown. And then it leaves Mike Evans open. And then Godwin when he's healthy. But then you saw those pieces start to crumble. And then you saw exactly what would happen.
I don't think Chris Godwin is like a receiver in the league that you're like, this guy's upper echelon. Like, hey, he can prove me wrong, sure. But I'm not looking at Chris Godwin as a guy that's like on the level of like a Justin Jefferson or DeAndre Hopkins or Cooper Kupp. Like, he's not on that level. He's not on. I don't even think he's on Mike Evans level. But he's a guy that can catch the ball if you throw it to him. And that is a very big thing that Tom did not have. And Tyler Johnson, he's a great wide receiver 4. Scotty Miller, same thing. But when they had to get elevated into wide receiver 2 positions, it just didn't work. And it sucked. I think if Tom has a healthy receiving core, he's still walking right through to the Super Bowl.
And you're able to block Gronk a little more. You're able to focus a little more on the run. You're able, like Mike Evans was still getting his, but also a lot with that game is Mike Evans is going up against arguably the best corner in the league who will always say one-on-one coverage is fine. Yeah. Maybe when you get closer to the end zone or, you have someone shade over every now and again, just to show Tom, like we recognize it's Mike Evans and, but we also have Jalen Ramsey and this is what we pay for.
Right? I think my favorite moment in that game was when Mike started cooking them a bit. And Jalen Ramsey walked over. He's like, "Get!" The guy covers to go.
Mike Evans' touchdown though was great.
He cooked Jalen.
And that's what I'm saying, right? And there's that time where you just go like the Rams know and the Bucks know this is the danger part of the game where we're just going to go one-on-one. And you know what? It's your best versus my best. And the wide receiver always has the upper hand automatically. And that's all it was. It wasn't like Ramsey was like way behind. It wasn't like he fell. Like he was that step behind that Mike Evans can get and Mike Evans can separate and it was a perfectly thrown ball. And that's that, right? But you're right. Yep. They need those options back. You saw the wagon come off, and I think that's where Brady's got to decide. Am I back for it? Am I ready? Because it's going to be, you got to kick it in that extra gear again.
I think there's a 0% chance that man retires in the offseason. 0.
He loves.
That's not a way for him to go out.
That's not at all. But
like, even if it's like, I don't even think it's not the fact that he didn't make the Super Bowl. The fact that like it wasn't like a farewell tour, like. Thank you, Tom Brady. All hail Tom Brady thing. I don't like that's the way he's going.
I don't know. I don't know if he wants that though. I don't know if he wants to be the guy to say this is my farewell tour. I don't know.
Tom Brady.
I don't think so.
He likes the attention. So.
He
lives for the attention.
But he'll say that he doesn't.
Yeah,
and I feel like but in a way, you had the attention this year, being the defending champs, doing what you did, coming over.
Yeah. But that wasn't his attention. That's his team's attention. I don't see this being.
That they put that on Tom Brady. That's not the team. There's no. That's not the team.
I think maybe next year is his last year. I don't think this was his last.
TB stood for Tom Brady that day. Okay, it did not stand for Tampa Bay. It was TB.
Tom Brady.
Entire way. Exactly.
Tom Brady Buccaneers.
Exactly. He owned that team for that day.
I think he's got at least one more in him. I don't think he's happy with the way this ended.
No, but it's going to be a bigger fight because also a lot of
absolutely. I don't think he's going to come back
on that. A lot of teams on that side are going to be a lot better, and they're going to look a lot different.
Yeah,
like that's the thing. Is a lot of teams. Right. Isn't there like 9 coaches? I don't know how many coaches on the NFC side, but there's 9 coaching.
There's a lot of coaches that are gone.
minimum, like just 9 coaching. Never mind quarterbacks and such.
Sean Payton up and
Gone.
walked away this year.
See ya.
His whole division is just different. For some reason, the Panthers didn't fire their coach, but
you guys re-signed him, didn't you?
Yeah, no, he's still signed. Like he didn't need to be re-signed, but they fucking signed Ben McAdoo as the OC.
That's who it was, like Ben McAdoo.
I don't know what the hell they're doing.
Honestly,
it's a tank decade, I guess.
I love saying his name, McAdoo.
Don't sign him. Maca go away. Just terrible signing for the Panthers. But like, so you got the Panthers.
Macapoo.
Yeah, Panthers with a new OC. The Saints are going to get a new head coach. Who the hell? Who's the other team in that division? It's the
Falcons.
Oh, Falcons. Didn't they get a new? They just got a new coach.
I can't remember.
They're fresh too. Like that
They're
whole
division.
Get
a new QB though.
Mm-hmm. The whole division is changing.
All right, will probably be.
And then there's just 14 coaches around the league that are just gone. So it's going to be a very different league coming forward. You're right.
So yeah, but good job to the Rams.
Unbelievable.
Smacking them in the
would have been the game of the weekend if it hadn't been for the Bills.
Before the Bills though, can we go quick?
Yeah.
Joe Burrow.
Yeah, Joe Burrow. Shout out. Hey.
I saw the craziest thing. There's a point, and this is how far along he is, where Joe Burrow says the mic in his head, or like in his headset, his headset in his helmet wasn't working, so he was calling plays by himself. That boy's ready. I don't know what plays. I don't know if they were successful plays. He was calling plays by himself.
I would like to personally thank Ryan Tannehill for just proving everything I said right. Because I didn't really go off on it as much on the podcast. But I picked the Bengals to beat the Titans, and both of my brothers were like, "You're an idiot." I'm like, "Why?"
No.
They're like, "Well, you got to trust the Titans." But I'm like, "I cannot trust the Titans with Ryan Tannehill as the quarterback."
I think
and they're like, "Why? He's a great quarterback. They're fine." Guy got picked off 3 times. First drive of the game, he gets picked off.
You rely on your run, and you're trying to hide the fact that your runner is not where he is. Like Derrick Henry rushed back. Don't tell me any different. If Derrick Henry is the Derrick Henry of old, they probably win that game because it's like 260 yards by him alone. No doubt. They just run the ball.
That's all they were missing.
And that is why on the first drive, when they threw the ball, Ryan Tannehill threw it literally like right to the safety.
In his mitts.
Right at him.
It was a pass to the defense. It was nothing else. And that
is Ryan Tannehill like Park Gazelle? We just don't know. We can't see the print.
I don't know, man.
Is that what it is? He's unable to see the design.
Like, it was great. It was fantastic.
Is bad.
And thank you to Ryan Tannehill because I took the Bengals all the way to the bowl.
But also, thank you to Joe Burrow. Thank you to Jamar Chase.
Yep.
And thank you to your kicker.
Yep.
Who just absolutely
stone
cold. You want to talk about rookie impressions? Go ahead.
Evan McPherson.
Tell me there's not a bigger one than that guy right there.
Biggest set of cajones I've ever seen. Did you hear what he said before he went to kick the ball? So Joe Burrow gets him down into 56-yard field goal territory. It was not a very easy field goal to make. 56-yarder. Evan McPherson walks by Joe Burrow and goes, "Well, I guess we're going to the AFC Championship." Before he kicks the 56-yarder, he walks by him and straight up goes, "Well, I guess we're going to the AFC Championship," and just proceeds to boot a 56-yarder down the middle like it's nothing.
You know what else I saw too, going back?
He's a rookie kicker, Brandon.
To the San Fran game and the Packers game, was the San Fran kicker was kicking it
Robbie
over
Gould
the line. Yeah, fucking great. Robbie Gould.
They're coming on the field and he's like, "No, I'm practicing.
I got practice."
But Evan McPherson, oh my God.
Wicked. I love it.
I'll tell you one thing, that kid's not lacking in confidence, and I love it.
To me, it was literally like, I think I mentioned it before. It's the Georgia-Alabama game where Blankenship is the Georgia kicker, and he is knocking things down. The only
that was Hot Rod?
That game. For real, it was.
I didn't know that was Hot Rod.
Because that was Tua who was on the other side, who took over for Jalen Hurts at half, and then just threw this bomb to Devonta Smith in the OT. But Blankenship, I'm pretty sure, had hit the field goal before that.
It was huge, too.
Georgia's drive, so that literally Alabama had to score, and Tua throws this one in the end zone. But anyways,
ice in his veins. Yeah, I remember that now. Yeah, I didn't know that was Hot Rod though. That's funny.
That's real,
unbelievable.
But anyways, that kicker, great. Love to see it.
So cool. Now,
okay, perfect. Now we can go to the one that matters.
The biggest game of the weekend.
That was fucking. I knew it was going to be. I said this to so many people. I said this is the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I think you said it
probably
on this one.
Probably be better. Yep.
And
sure enough,
it was. That we're not going to see a better game than that. We might not see a better game than that for a long time.
Clip that from last week. Put that in. That was.
It just, man, it was right from the beginning. There wasn't a moment when I wasn't on the edge of my seat watching that game. Josh Allen comes up, beautiful drive to start the game, scores a touchdown with like 6 minutes left on the clock. Like he used a lot of clock. I'm like, wow, he might be able to do this. Just kind of use the clock. And then Pat Mahomes does it in like 3 minutes, walks downfield, scores a touchdown. I'm like, oh no. And then they just went back and forth, just trading shots. And then the final, was it 2:30 of that game? I don't even know what it was. It just, they score to go up. Like the Bills score to go up. And then I don't know what happened. They forget to play defense on the only guy they need to remember to play defense on in Tyreek Hill. And Tyreek
almost like
Hill,
forgetting to play defense on Cooper Kupp. You know, it's
yeah, exact same thing. Like there's one guy you need to worry about in that situation, and you forgot to worry about him. And he does that stupid ass peace sign. And as he's running up to Buddy, he wasn't even running by him yet.
Oh,
and
he knew though.
He knew. Oh, you're not catching him. He's going to blow by you every time.
Yeah, even if you catch him, his momentum's taking him forward. He's fine.
But he does that, and I'm like, fuck this guy. I'm like, that's the last person I want to see win. I hate him so much. And he does that, and he blows in, scores a touchdown, leaves a ton of time on the clock. And Josh Allen, hey, credit to Josh Allen. That was incredible. What he was able to do on that drive and to run the clock down to where it was, to throw that pass in the end zone, just finding Davis, what was it, 4 times that game? Unbelievable.
Four times.
Unbelievable.
That is sticking to, we're going to block everybody else. You go for this guy. You know, that is sticking. And that's Andy Reid sticking to his guns. You can find him. That's fine. You have to find him every single time.
And he found him every time.
And he did. That's how good Josh Allen is.
And Josh Allen leaves 13 seconds on the clock. Any other game, you think that's enough. There's no way you're making the entire length of the field in 13 seconds.
How many timeouts does he have?
He had 3, I think.
Exactly. So, that's too many.
That's
like literally
way too much time, apparently, for Pat Mahomes. And not only that, you left your biggest targets wide open again. I think it was Kelsey and Hill that caught back-to-back passes.
Yeah, so I got a couple of things. I was listening to TSN this morning, I think it was, and I think Koliak was on there, and he was saying like a lot of Buffalo fans and him were just saying, kick it to him, make the guy run to burn off a little more clock.
Yeah,
right. Don't kick it in the end zone. Like make them run, make some clock run out because
you're at eight seconds, 9 seconds. It's a little different.
Patrick Mahomes is throwing. It's a little different. It's not 13 seconds of just throwing.
No. Yeah.
So
I just to leave Travis Kelce open like that too. I'm like,
dude, and that's
you just got to smother those 2 guys.
That's the other thing. Travis Kelce was calling things on the line. He was saying to Hill, hey, come inside. I'm going to block for you. And that gave him a little bit more. And then Travis Kelce, again, just knows where to go, finds it. You almost lose him as like a blocker, I guess. Like, I don't know what it is, but his go routes, nobody blocks him ever. Like, why? No. Why do you not expect the tight end, especially if his caliber, to just go?
I don't know.
I don't get it.
It's crazy.
I don't get it. It was so fucking amazing.
They put themselves 25 points in the last 2.5 minutes or whatever it was. Just unbelievable finish. And Butker hits them. Butker's not missing that kick ever.
No.
Drains that field goal, ties it up, sends it to overtime. Now, this is an entire discussion in and of itself. But I despise the NFL's overtime rules. I don't mind it in regular season because, like, who cares? Just get the game over with as a regular season. It's not that big a deal. But when you get to playoffs, and you have a game like that, where right now, this is the 2 biggest performances we've seen out of quarterbacks in the entire playoffs. I don't think there's anyone that's coming close just this year. And one of them doesn't get a chance to have the ball in overtime. It stings. Like it was a fair and square game. Kansas City won it. But the fact that Josh Allen didn't get to have that ball in his hands to give the Bills a chance hurts a lot.
I would love to see a 10-minute overtime.
It was 15.
No, but I'm saying like it's 10 full minutes. Like you play it out. Doesn't matter.
You play the whole quarter.
Doesn't matter how many people score.
Okay.
Or sorry, how many times you score, you play it out.
You play a quarter.
Almost, yeah. It's the basketball. It's less of the NHL. That's the thing. It's no longer just the first team to score gets it. because I do like if you're the first team to go down and you score, the other team can answer.
Mm-hmm.
But
then it's going to be the same thing anyways. You get the ball back. And
I almost think if you add this extra 10 minutes, you're from a business standpoint as well, you're almost producing like double the revenue. Yeah, it's double the revenue in a way, because like people are going to be investing
more football, more ads, more sales, more lots of stuff.
Let's say that you go down, you score right away. The other team comes down, they miss. You're going down. You kind of hit a field goal. Okay, there's still 5 minutes left.
You can go score a touchdown.
The other guy's Tom Brady. Like, you still think, oh yeah, I'm in this. I got 10 points and I got 5 minutes. I'm in this. Patrick Mahomes.
The guys can say the other guy's Pat Mahomes and there's 20 seconds left on the clock. Right. I'm not worried.
I'm in this. You're doing it again. You're making these fans get back into it and get back that excitement of I'm into this. I'm into this. Now the heartbreak is still there for everybody, no doubt. I think that it is what it is. The rules for overtime. If you don't want to get it there, don't get it there, right? You have so many sides competing. Don't say it comes down to a coin flip, because the coin flip doesn't bring you right to the end zone.
No,
the coin flip gets you the ball, or gets
that
you the
game
decision.
came down to a coin flip. Whoever won that coin flip was winning the game. And I said that when it happened. I'm like, whoever wins this is winning the game.
But that's so easy to say with Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it's not every game that the overtime is decided by the coin flip. Like, I think it's only like 56% of games end on the first drive.
Right.
So yeah, it's not always that the coin flip decides the game, but you knew for a fact in that game the coin flip was deciding that playoff game, and it hurts.
For me, I only knew it if Patrick Mahomes was getting it. I didn't think that Josh Allen was carving.
Right, but
didn't
wasn't
it
missing guys. And like, if
a Buffalo thing to do though, to go to overtime.
Yeah, for sure, he'd get picked off or something. Absolutely, but. Like, this is way more Buffalo. Like, you just come back and pull this and think you have the time, and 13 seconds left, they score, and then you don't win the coin toss and don't even get a chance. No,
it just very. Maybe I'm biased because of the whole Patriot way. That's exactly what we did for the Super Bowl. We just come all the way back, and then you don't even give them a chance to get in the end, or to get the ball in their hands in overtime, and that's it. Super Bowl is not theirs. That's why I think the 10-minute overtime would be wicked. It would still bring back that, and it's 10
something
minutes.
Different. I had someone comment on one of my tweets, just like an idea for it. I don't think it'll ever stick, but like, it was really interesting in the fact that like, first team goes, they get whatever they get. If you're the other team, you have to at least match that. So say they go down and score a touchdown, you have the chance to go score that touchdown, and that's it. Like, you don't just keep going. Like, if they get a field goal, you have a chance to go win it. If they get a touchdown, you have a chance to go win it. If not, then you lose.
Right. So
but then it also gives you the chance to go for 2 on either side. Because like, you're
just saying that you just give them the chance to answer. That's it. I think did that not used to be some sort of rule?
It's kind of like college. College is similar, way, but the college starts at the 25. Like, the other team's 25.
Yeah. Oh, I know.
You just get.
That's what I mean. That's because
I don't like that. I think you give the team a chance to do what they just did to you. And I think it also creates a little bit of gamesmanship, because like, if you're the Kansas City Chiefs and you do that, Josh Allen's about to get the ball. It is what it is. Josh Allen's probably going to walk downfield on you because he's done it 3 times in a row.
Right.
Do you go for 2 in that scenario? Right. Because if you go for 2, he has to go for 2 and gives you more chance to try and beat him. But if you go for 2 and you miss, he just has to score a touchdown and get that extra point. So I think it would be interesting, and it wouldn't extend the game all that much. Like, it's one more drive. You don't have to play out the full quarter. The guys aren't killing themselves throughout an entire other quarter of football. And it's only one group. It's one play. It's one drive for both sides. You get one drive on offense, one on defense.
So I answered TSN Sports.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, the kickers start from the 30 and they move back from the 35 to the 40 to the 40. It's a kickoff, and you go until you miss. So if you both hit at the 30, you go back to the 35. And then you both hit it from the 35, you go back to the 40. And it's first to miss from there. That would absolutely...
It's the NFL's version of a shootout.
That's what I'm saying. That's exactly where the idea came from. You take 1/8 of the game, because I took it from... I related it to soccer, really. I was like, well,
penalty kicks?
I go penalty kicks. I was like, dude, the kicker... What worse way to end a game,
Missing a field goal?
Yeah, then it just
the double doink? Like, if you get one of those again?
You think the double doink would be bad? We would have double doinks going every single OT. That would be hilarious.
Now, in that scenario, say we get back to the 45. Both kickers miss. Where do you kick from? 45 again?
From the 45, yeah. And if the guy hits it, and if you both hit it, then you go back.
And you keep going back. Okay.
You keep going back. Yeah, you don't get the same way. You could even, if you wanted to stop it.
That would be really fun. I think.
If you wanted to stop it, you could stop it at like the 55. You could say, then we cap it at the 55, and you just hit from there. Going. Okay. Nobody's going to.
Because I think it was Butker that was booting like 60, 70-yard field goals in warmups just for fun.
The record is 64, I think, or 66 or something. 64
I think it's more than that. Isn't it like 67?
No,
I thought it got up there. But
I think
it
was Matt Prater had it and broke it.
Like maybe you might be right. I think the thing there too is you don't put a defense on the field because then you can make some distance.
Ooh, so it's
it's just the snapper, the holder, and the kicker. That's
the snapper and the okay. I was gonna say though, or do you have that little thing that's just
you could do the little thing.
Kickers could,
but like you've seen the kickers boot like kickoffs through the end zone, right? So like if you put it on there, it's a little different. I think you still need to have the physics of holding the ball and the holder being able to screw it up. I think that still needs to be a thing. But I don't think you give the defense a chance to block the ball. Like it's just kind of.
I think it'd be perfect.
I think it'd be fun. I don't hate that idea. Like it's never gonna happen. But I don't hate that idea.
I bet you draft more kickers.
Absolutely. You're focusing. Justin Tucker would be the most prized possession in the entire NFL at that point. You just send everything to overtime and he's hitting it from your own end zone.
Yeah, with the first overall pick by the New York Jets.
Like you got kickers going in the first round of every draft.
Select, yeah, crazy. Exactly.
Didn't McPherson go like early? Because I think that the Bengals tweeted out like draft your kickers in the first or something like that. I don't know, but
I don't know.
I could be wrong. But
maybe just draft kickers.
Could have been.
A lot of people just sign these random dudes, you know.
So we're in the what do you call it? Conference championship round. We got Bengals and Chiefs.
It's Chiefs, man. I love the Bengals train. There's no doubt, but man,
the Bengals beat them in week 15, 16, whatever it was. That's what I'm relying on.
I don't think their defense is ready for this team yet, though.
I've got $300 sitting on that.
This is Patrick Mahomes.
It's gonna be. He's a playoff. Patty is a different animal.
Yeah,
but hey,
a whole different beast.
Joe Burrow has ice in his veins, and he might sling with him.
How fun would a Cincinnati LA final be? Like that would be unreal.
I hope it happens.
That's your pick then.
I've got Cincinnati. I've been running with Cincinnati the entire way. I'm not jumping off that train now. I took them because I thought they were going to get the Bills, but I don't know. They got that momentum right now. And I think the Chiefs just went into that shootout last game and they're a little worn down a bit.
I think the Chiefs are just looking to do what they always do.
They're going to do it again. I know.
They're just, they throw screens, they throw bombs, they throw whatever.
They're hard to stop and they're hard to score against.
Yep.
It is what it is. On the other side, you've got the Rams and Niners. I think it would be a close game, and it still might be a close game, but I think it would be closer if I knew everyone on that Niners team was healthy.
I think the Rams got this either way. I don't know what it is, man. I'm not a Jimmy G guy. I wasn't even a Jimmy G guy when he was on your team. Yeah, I didn't believe in it. I was happy to get a second for him when we traded him or whatever we got for him. Like it didn't even matter. And it just he works in the system, for sure. But like it's boring almost. You know, like why am I more excited to see the defense on the field? Like
he can get it done. He's really good at just doing what he has to.
You have so much talent there. I hope that's one place Aaron Rodgers considers.
I hope. I like the Niners right now. I don't want to see Rodgers. I want him to go to Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh is the only spot for me.
No, because you don't like Pittsburgh.
Exactly. That's why I want him to go there. It's the only spot for him.
I hope he goes to the Browns. I hope he ends it there.
I don't think they're giving up on Baker. I think they trust him.
They couldn't.
I don't think Baker's as bad as people think he is.
No,
his receiving core sucks.
I think that Cleveland's just as bad as everyone thinks it is. The dog pound is just the brown and orange doesn't work. It's just change it up.
Hard to play there, man.
Be in there.
Get a new look or something.
I hate some of the camera angles. Can you imagine being a player in there? There's no way.
Yeah.
No. So I'll take a Rams KC final.
KC. I got Rams Bengals.
Yeah, I do like in my heart now. The Bengals are my ride or die, which is why maybe I'm voting against them because I don't want to jinx it.
You're hoping
I
to be
don't
wrong.
want to, because like, dude, how great would it be to see Joe Burrow after one of the most an injury that could have taken you out for a long time. You come back in, they draft you, your homeboy from college, like you're like the guy you won with, and now you guys are going to run it back. And even still now, the guy that you're running it back with, because every game it just seems to be the Jamar Chase show.
Yeah.
And that's it. And now he's got Joe Mixon burning wheels too, and just
the whole team they're just buzzing.
No worries. I've never had to worry about Cincinnati offense. No. It's when they get to the defensive side of the ball, and
they had 3 picks last game.
They faced Ryan Tannehill last game.
Yeah, we'll pretend that didn't happen. Pat Mahomes has like 1 interception in his whole.
This is pretty much like racing a Prius versus a Lamborghini.
Drag racing in a Prius.
This is what I'm saying. You now we're racing the Prius, and you now own the Prius. Yeah. You know?
Yeah. I don't know.
You gotta find a way.
Go Bengals.
To do this. Go Bengals. For
That's
sure.
all I got.
Not my pick, but go Bengals.
Go Bengals, man. Go Bengals.
I hope so.
Yep.
Did you bet 300? You bet?
No, it's in our pool. It's in our bracket. I got them going through, and I'm currently sitting in second, 4 points back of the leader. So if the Bengals win, I win the pool because the other guy is the Chiefs. So if the Bengals,
no, you wouldn't have the pool though. You'd have to guess.
I would because it's 2-2. Everyone that guy doesn't have the Bengals, and it's 8 points for this round. So if I get the Bengals in this round, I get 8, and if I get the Rams, I get another 8. So it's 16.
So if I get KC,
by 2.
I get what?
But everybody above you has KC.
Oh,
yeah, that's the problem. Everyone around me has KC, and I have the Bengals. So if the Bengals win, I win the pool.
Bengals. All right, why not? Let's support here. Bengals.
Yeah.
Bengals, Rams.
I'm in the NFL one too, and I was in 55th. I was in 16th at one point, and then the Packers lost. It butchered me because I was going to take the Niners too, but it butchered me. Put me down to 300 and something, and then the Bengals won, and it put me back up to 55th.
Because it's like a weekly thing?
It's the whole playoff. Same whole thing. You just do the whole thing. It put me back up to 55th, and then the Bills one probably would have pushed me up even higher, but then they blew it with 13 seconds left. The grand prize for that one, $3,000.
So
I'm hurt. I'm hurt. 13's a terrible number. 13's a terrible number.
That's a terrible number.
Terrible number.
It's just terrible. Seconds. All right.
I'm so sorry to Bills fans. Yeah, I think I think that's it.
I think I want to wait and digest this Team Canada roster first. Before we get into it.
I forgot. I don't really want to wait a week.
Really?
I don't. That's a long time. Yeah. I'm very disappointed. Generally, as a whole, because like I'm not gonna break down each pick and be like he shouldn't be there. He should. I think they went way too old with this group. Way too old.
Experienced. I'll say two-way hockey. I'll say a lot of players that were gonna be like, oh, I remember you. You know, it's
nostalgic. It's a very nostalgic team
for sure. For us, we're hoping that Eric Stahl is gonna turn it back to
30.
Dude, no. And they didn't even draft Devin Dubnyk. What's going on with our goaltenders?
Hey, Devin Levi, I think is going to be great.
For sure. I think
that was cool. I'm glad.
I think you should have had the Devin's role.
Yeah.
Devin Dubnyk is like a season out of the NHL, if that.
He played last year.
Right. And he's with an AHL team. It hurt. I
don't really get that. Very excited. Very excited for Owen Power. Very excited for Josh Hosang. I'm so happy for that kid.
I think Josh Hosang. And I heard too.
I hope this is his coming out party, man.
Apparently, that was one of the reasons why we haven't seen Josh Hosang yet. And when he signed his contract, was apparently they caught wind, or there was in communication that Olympics said, "Look, he's on our
If we're looking at him, that'd be cool."
Exactly. So if you sign him to a two-way deal, you can't. If you sign him to an AHL only deal, you can.
And you can. Oh, that's cool.
So he might get the experience play there.
That'd be really cool. I hope he shines on that stage and comes back and they give him a contract. Really cool thing with him too is that someone asked him today. They're just like, "Oh, if someone offers you a contract, what are you going to do?" And he straight up said, "Like, if somebody comes to me and approaches me, I'm going to talk to Kyle because he gave me this opportunity and I respect the hell out of him for it. And he's the only reason I'm here right now."
Is that Josh Hosang is a lot more vocal about being like about his status being in the AHL for sure, right? You've heard, like, we were never Islanders fans, but we heard a lot going on in the Islanders about how he's frustrated, about how he's up and down. Now he's never sticking around, you know.
It's weird. He's so respectful here.
And then you come here and he signs to an AHL only deal, and there's a lot of, you know, uncertainty around it. Why is it only AHL? Do we not think that he's going to be able to be called up? And then you kind of realize, you know, this is I'm sure they always had a plan of, this is our NHL team, and this is our prospects of people who we can take who won't be on the NHL team, right? Just in case this happens, because we were always uncertain if the NHL players are going to, we kind of got teased with it, you know?
Yeah.
Dangled in front of us, and then there you go. So yeah, I like it. I think he's
super cool
learn a lot from this. Yeah. I just want to see more of those, you know.
Mason McTavish is another one that I'm really excited about.
Yes, but are you telling me there's not more 18, 19, like,
why is Kent Johnson not on the main roster?
What is it? Yeah. There's not dudes that are just like, who maybe didn't get drafted, but are not that far from being high junior prospects that are just floating around somewhere that we're not going to take over Daniel Winnick.
Yeah, like, you're willing to tell me that Kent Johnson's good enough to be an alternate if somebody gets hurt, but he can't play over guys like Daniel Winnick and Adam Cracknell, and
who's a fight guy? Like, that's it. We're not
other guys I've never even heard of. Like,
there's no way. If Daniel Winnick gets 5 points, I don't even know what I'm going to do, because I don't think it's going to happen.
It's just that I don't need to make anything. It's just not going to happen.
And I'm saying 5 points, and we're expecting to medal. Not even now. It's like the expectation.
We're a team that's supposed to win gold almost every time.
When the NHL players float around, for sure.
Yeah, this is now Russia's tournament, and we're all just in it.
I would love to see them players go back. You feel bad for players now. Like, I think this could influence. I think we texted a little bit about it. Like, I think this is going to influence even potential young players who are saying to themselves, man, I want this experience. And if this is the only time that we're going to get an Olympic experience, because I also want to play in the NHL, then I'm going to have to do it now.
Yeah.
I'm going to
go somewhere internationally, try something.
Exactly. And say, okay, this is going to be my international experience when I'm young, when I'm 16, 17, and that's cool. And then even sometimes as a 15-year-old, I guess, you know, you're going to go over there and that's that.
Do you know if CHL players were allowed?
I hadn't heard anything about it. It didn't seem like,
because, like, I don't know. I think there's enough guys in the CHL that could have made it over a lot of guys on that team.
I don't know. Like,
I guess Perfetti's up with the Jets too. I guess that's a big one.
Oh yeah, he is. Yeah,
he could have gone.
Did they not watch Miracle?
Fuck the Jets for that, man.
Did they not watch Miracle? Come on.
Why would the Jets call him up like weeks before the Olympics? Like, just let him go. You don't need him that bad. You guys suck.
They're worried about him.
Whatever.
It's one of those things.
Yeah,
you want to see the young stars, and I think a lot of that is swayed from the fact that we didn't get a juniors. We didn't get to see them actually perform. I
just want to see that team run that team into the Olympics. Yes, just try it.
But that's what I'm kind of saying is that team was already selected.
The juniors. They're a group that's been together for a while. Yeah, I see what you're saying now.
A majority of those players, if you wanted to, hey, Eric Stahl,
they're a family.
Hey, Eric Stahl, we need some veteran leadership.
No, here's our reserves. We're a family.
Okay, we're a family for sure. Whatever. Go Disney, rip it off.
This is the family you want to take to Lake Placid with.
We'll have it on our own then. You know, we'll make our own movie about it. Probably go to Netflix right away.
We can be a new miracle. Right. Canada needs a miracle.
But you know what I'm like? I don't want to see it anymore. If this is the trend, I want younger talent. I want players that we
all CHL kids, all junior team. Abolish the junior tournament. Send them to the Olympics.
Absolutely.
That'd be way cooler.
That's it. That's all.
Like, if you're not going to do NHL players, that should be the next best thing. I don't want to see former NHLers. No. 37 Daniel Winnick doesn't get me out of bed in the morning, because the games are at 3 a.m. or something stupid.
David Desharnais, there's a reason why I let you walk out the door and not be upset.
No,
you know, it's fine with us, and there was a reason why, and it should have just stayed that way. And now I have to be excited about Josh Hosang. I am
super excited, but
I don't want to be peak excited for Josh Hosang because you decided to leave everybody off. You know,
Josh Hosang shouldn't be the biggest name on that team.
Owen Power looked great in a World Junior tournament. I would have loved to see him continue that World Junior tournament.
He's there.
Pretty pumped for him to be in this tournament. I want to see more players like Owen Power in this tournament.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
just give me that. Whatever, man. It
is.
is.
Trying to tell me Caden Goulet can't get in there? Goul? What's his name?
Goulet?
Julie?
Goulet. With a G.
Fucking
Soft G.
Soft
Or hard G?
KG? Who knows?
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Captain G.
The fact that Ken Johnson's going and he's not on the team is just a pain in the ass. Like, he's good enough to play. Put him in. Stop giving me 36-year-old NHLers. Ex-NHLers.
Shane Doan, if you got some time, we got some questions.
Shane Doan absolutely just signed a bunch of guys he likes to drink with. He's like, these are the boys, and they're getting a chance to go to the Olympics.
Did he forget the submit time, maybe? Did he forget the deadline and just like, oh, shit, and then gave out like,
hey, what are you doing?
Yeah, are you free? Come on, I need some boys.
I don't know, man. I don't get it.
That's all right.
Send Bedard. What? Like, that would have been so much fun.
My heart's still sporting. Don't you worry.
15-year-old Connor Bedard, 16-year-old Connor Bedard. Absolutely. Shane Wright turns 18. Send Shane Wright. Why is Shane Wright not go? I don't know.
Send on.
There's way too much to get into in the Olympic roster. I hate it. And here we are. We made it through.
I'd love to see like an Olympic snub list, who people thought you can't even do one because
it is. They have one. It's called the World Junior Team. That's the snub list. Right, that whole team got snubbed.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for listening.
I gotta leave it on that. That's so funny.
We'll be back next week. As always, you can find us on Twitter at BnB_Brant and BnB_Brandon and at ABNB Pod, EHBNB Pod. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. I forgot we started a new YouTube channel for this one, and we do not have a lot of subscribers.
That's okay.
If you are listening, we really appreciate it if you subscribe. Also, like and comment, talk to us. We like talking with you guys. Talk to us. It's way more fun. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, all that fun stuff. And we will catch you. Actually, check out theasports.com for merch and other content. And we will catch you next week. Cheers.